A social insurance number, SIN, is a 9-digit number that you need to work and be paid in Canada and access government programs and benefits. It is also used to file taxes. If you are not eligible for a SIN, you can apply for an individual tax number, ITN, for tax purposes. Important: surname, mother and father, required for SIN number registration. Check your study permit conditions. To be eligible for a SIN, you must have a study permit with at least one of the following conditions. May accept employment on or off campus if meeting eligibility criteria, per paragraph R186, F, V, or W, and must cease working if no longer meeting these criteria. May work 20 hours per week off campus or full-time during regular breaks if meeting criteria outlined in paragraph 186, V, of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. May accept employment on the campus of the institution at which registered in full-time studies. If your study permit does not state you can work. If you're eligible to work in Canada as a student, but you do not have one of the conditions on your study permit listed above, you will need to either amend or change the conditions of your study permit depending on your situation. If there was a mistake when you were issued the study permit, you need to amend your study permit. If your situation has changed and you've now switched to a program which makes you eligible to work off campus, you need to change your study permit conditions, which follows the same process as a study permit extension. An example is if you previously studied English as an additional language and are now a degree-seeking student. Applying for a SIN as an international student. We recommend that you apply for a SIN online. You can also apply by mail or request an in-person appointment if you face barriers applying online. If you are outside of Canada and you have a study or work permit, you can apply online for a new or extended SIN or confirmation of a SIN, even if you do not have a Canadian mailing address. In addition to your study or work permit, you will need your passport and proof of address. If the document is not in English or French, you will need to translate the document. Typical processing times. Online applications may take 15 business days. Mail applications may take 25 business days. If you applied in person, you'll receive the SIN during your visit. If your application has exceeded normal processing times and you have not received a letter, please contact the SIN program. Your SIN digits after applying. International students get a SIN starting with the number 9, which lets employers know that you are a temporary resident in Canada. Your SIN will remain the same unless you become a permanent resident, in which case you can apply for a new SIN which doesn't start with the number 9. Keeping your SIN valid. Your SIN will usually have the same expiry date as your study or work permit. Extending your SIN. Make sure you keep your SIN valid by extending your SIN each time you extend your temporary residency in Canada, such as getting your extended study permit or your post-graduation work permit. If you get a co-op work permit and have already received a SIN from your study permit, you do not need to apply for a SIN again. To extend your SIN, follow the same steps as applying for a new SIN number. Maintain status. If you applied for a new study or work permit before your current document became invalid and you haven't received your new document yet, you can continue to use the same SIN while you are waiting for your permit to be issued while on maintain status so long as you stay in Canada. Keeping your SIN safe. Your SIN is sensitive personal information which should not be shared. Be sure to protect your SIN. Beware of fraudulent phone calls or emails asking for your SIN or any other personal information.